Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. We're going to jump right into today's topic. I'm going to talk to you about how to stay unstuck and stay successful in your career. I'm going to go over 5 different tips or strategies that you can use to do this. And as you all know from my previous trainings with you and the purpose of this group, helping you get unstuck in your career and stay that way is my jam. This is what I do. Just to reintroduce myself, because I know we've had quite a few new members over the last couple of weeks. So welcome to all of you if you're new. Welcome back if you've been in the group for a while. I'm Andrea Yakov Masick, and I'm a career coach, and I focus on helping young professional women and recent grads gain clarity for what's next in their career and take those steps with confidence. So, this topic today is definitely very closely aligned to what I coach on, and I'm really excited to walk through these 5 tips with you. Um, being a coach and being in the space and helping young professional women, and I help women anywhere between 1 and 10 years, maybe 10 plus years, who are ready to make a change, looking for that next step. Most of my clients who come to work with me obviously are feeling really stuck. They just don't know what to do next, don't know how to figure it out. And this is pretty typical when you're a high achiever. And I say that because, much like me, everyone in this community is a high achiever. You're ambitious, you know what you want. And what's so frustrating when you're in this phase of your career is that because you're used to doing that, when you don't know how to figure out what's next, you feel so stuck. You feel even more overwhelmed because typically in your life, you either have a process for it, you know how to do it, you've been there before. And when you're making a career change or ready for what's next, you haven't been in that situation yet. So you feel really stuck. You don't know what is the best right thing to do, what next steps to take, where to even start, how to start. So, what I typically hear from my clients when they are feeling stuck are 3 main stuck points, which are they know they want something different and are not clear on what that is. Then you have the clarity potentially for what you want, but you just don't know how or where to start. And maybe you've figured out how or where to start, but you don't know the next right quote unquote move to make based on all the other priorities or information that you're sorting through. So this is what we're going to talk about today in terms of when you're hitting one of those 3 common stuck points. These are 5 things that you can do to really help give yourself clarity and give yourself momentum to move forward and get out of that stuck. And these are also strategies that very highly effective people at a high level use. If many of you knew Gabby Bernstein, she's a motivational speaker and spiritual leader. Rachel Hollis talks about a lot of these, Natalie Ellis from Girl Boss. So a lot of these tactics I'm giving you are things that and habits and strategies that women at a high level do to keep themselves unstuck and successful. So let's get into it. So the first tip here is make the first move. What I mean by that is take the initiative to write down what it is that you want. So write down your goals. And that's because you need to have an idea of where you want to go. You don't have to have the exact right thing in mind or the exact everything laid out very specifically, but you need to have an idea of what that looks like. And typically we do that by setting goals. So whether that be, you want to accomplish maybe redrafting your resume by next week, or you want to apply for, let's say, 10 jobs by the end of the month, or you want to be in a new role in 6 months from now. So whatever that time frame is, whatever that goal is, I want you to get in the habit of writing that down so you can give yourself a way to be very intentional about where you want to go. So it's very powerful practice to put your goals and thoughts on paper, because the more that you can give yourself multiple ways to visualize that goal, the more likely you are to achieve that. So not only do I want you to write it down, but I want you to get in the habit of writing it down frequently. So at least once a month at minimum, give yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes to write down your goals. The next tip here of how to stay unstuck and stay successful in your career is to be proactive. And we've talked about this a little bit before in previous trainings. So Again, taking some time to reflect on what you've learned from where you've been and the experiences that you've had. Um, what did you learn from that? What habits did you use? What behaviors got you closer to your goal or got you to accomplish that goal? And how do you want to keep using those same habits or tactics and strategies? And then similarly to that, when you're reflecting, what didn't work out as well and where do you want to improve? So maybe if you had an interview, you didn't get the interview, but you got really close. What did you learn from that, which we talked about in the last training? So again, just being really reflective on where you've been, because if you don't look at where you've been, you can't really help direct yourself to where you want to go and learn from that. This is also a great practice too of reflecting on your wins that you've had. So when you are ready to talk about your accomplishments in an interview or in your job setting or performance review, whatever the case may be, you already have information ready to go. You don't have to start from scratch. Also, a great way to continually evaluate your skill sets and keep a tab on that too as you update your resume and go forward and are taking those next steps for where you want to be. Strategy number 3 here is to create balance. And I know as women, we're multitaskers. And also when you layer on the high achieving, you're driven, you're ambitious, it can be very hard for us to create and achieve that balance in our life. But I want to remind you is with this tip here of creating balances, we are 1000% capable. Ladies, you can do everything you absolutely want. It just doesn't need to be all at the same time. So I want you to work that muscle here of not having to do everything, not having to multitask, because when you are multitasking and trying to focus on too many things at once, you also are pulling your attention and intention and your ability to do something well. So we all only have a certain capacity to operate at our best and at our highest level. And if you're trying to do too many things at once, you're going to stretch yourself too thin. So really give yourself grace here and know that you can do everything you want, but give yourself time and space to do it over a certain period of time. It doesn't have to be all right now. That's where that goal setting tip, that first one we talked about, comes in, is writing down, what's the next goal in a week, a month, and 6 months, so you can really focus your attention on those things and not spread yourself too thin, and then create that balance for yourself. Strategy number 4, tip number 4, is really a mindset piece here that I want to talk to you about, which is to stop comparing. Also, something I know that's really challenging to do. We are fed all sorts of information all day long on our phone, social media, of what other people are doing. But what I want to remind you of is the more that you compare to other people, the less that you're focusing on yourself and your ability, your wants, your goals, and the more that you're giving that attention and desire to them and their goals and their path. So, great to be supportive of others, which is why we're in this community, but I don't want you to compare. I don't want you to be supportive in comparison, right? Don't compare yourself. We're all on our own time. And I know it can feel hard, like you're behind or you're trying to play catch up. Believe me, I know how that feels. Hindsight's always 2020. Sometimes I feel behind that I started my business now versus 10 years ago. But I also have to remind myself too that I wouldn't have been as successful in my business as I am now without all that experience that I've had leading up to this moment. So it was definitely right on time. So I know this is hard. This is a mindset practice. It's also a muscle. It's an emotional muscle you can work on. Don't compare yourself. Really focus on you. And because what we focus on grows, good and bad. So we want to focus again, attention and intention is the theme with these tips today, on your goals, your capabilities, what you want, what you're going after, and not compare to others. And then the last tip here is what I just mentioned in terms of community, is making sure you're staying connected to other people. We often get so caught up in the end result of somebody's story and their success and where they are, and don't really pay attention to all of the support and community they had to get them to that point of their career. So staying connected, like in this Facebook group, communicating with one another, being on these trainings is such a wonderful way for you to learn from each other, stay connected, have resources, build your network, look at next steps and job opportunities from each other. I, again, would not have been able to successfully build my business and have the career I had and successfully pivot my career, which is what I coach on now, what I coach you on now, without my community. So I want you to make sure that you are continuing to reach out to people, get that support. It's also a fantastic, really low key way, low effort way to learn about other jobs. If you, like I mentioned earlier, if you're stuck in knowing you know you want something new from your career, but you don't have clarity on what that is, staying connected to others is a great way to do that. So, again, staying connected in this community is a fantastic way to do that. So, these are your 5 tips, ladies, to help you stay unstuck and stay successful in your career. So, again, just to recap really quickly, make the first move for yourself, carve out that time, write down your goals, make it a habit, do it at least once a month so you can really set yourself up for success and know where you're going so you can get yourself there. Tip number 2, strategy number 2, be proactive. Take that time also at least once a month and reflect on where you've been. What have you learned? What skill sets did you develop? What didn't, maybe what didn't turn out the way you wanted, but what did you learn from that and how you can take that forward? Strategy number 3 here, create balance. Remember, this is a mindset piece as well, to give yourself grace that you don't have to do everything all at once. Really carve out those priorities, set those goals, and space yourself out. You don't have to do everything all at once. Give yourself balance here. Stop comparing. Number 4, really stop comparing. This is something I wish I knew so much earlier in my career, that really just to be supportive of others, but not compare myself to others in my circle, and to stay connected. So if you really are curious about this, as always, reach out to me and you're going to have a great opportunity to go into these 5 strategies much deeper with me. This is something that I coach on specifically inside of my 8-week group coaching program, the Career Redesign Program. And you're going to have a chance to sneak peek these tips. I'm going to be giving you a sneak peek of my exact 3-step process that I coach my clients on to really help them stay unstuck and stay successful, gain that clarity, and take their next steps with confidence. I'm going to be doing a live virtual 3-day, absolutely free workshop series coming up in a couple of weeks. Again, it's going to walk you through my 3-step process that I use with my clients to really, again, help set you up for success as we round out 2020 and start 21. So I'm going to put that link in the comments. Three-day, absolutely free virtual workshop. It's going to be live. You can sign up in the link that I'll put in the comment section. We'd love to have you there, have you go deeper with me in these strategies, because I really want you to close out this year on a high note and set yourself up for the success that you want in your career in 21. So look out for that link. Can't wait to hear from you. As always, share comments, and I'll be back next week. We'll be talking about building your confidence and how to stop saying I'm sorry. So I'll see you soon.